Night has fallen, and the moon is a glowing golden orb in the black sky. See how it shines on the dark back roads of America, and on one road in particular. Come with us, and we'll take a walk down the moonlit road, for the night is waiting, and the moon is full.
The Moonlit Road presents Episode 13, Alice, written by Cathy Kaemmerlen and Craig Dominey, and told by Cathy Kaemmerlen.
The coast of South Carolina can be an eerie place, with Spanish moss draped over tree branches, looking like long, ghostly fingers reaching out to grab passers-by. The fog, the mist, and the sea breeze complete the perfect setting for ghostly tales, like that of Alice Flagg, one of the most popular ghosts on the South Carolina Grand Strand. Many tales have been told of the young girl whose unfulfilled spirit roams an old plantation house and graveyard while searching for her lost ring. The tale began in 1849 at the Hermitage of Murrells Inlet, South Carolina, seashore home of the Flagg family, owners of the great Wachesaw plantation. Alice Bellen Flagg lived with her mother and brother, Dr. Allard Flagg, who took over as family patriarch when his father and Alice's father died. As the head of the house, it was his responsibility to see to his sister's upbringing. And she was being brought up to marry into the South Carolina aristocracy. "Every woman must leave her mark on the earth," Alice's mother would say. Indeed, every Georgetown County plantation princess must marry a plantation prince. Period. No questions asked. No exceptions made. But who can control one's heartstrings? And it was Alice's fate to fall in love with a common lumberman, handsome and successful albeit, but far beneath her required station. John Braddock was his name. He was a man who worked with his hands, a man who knew nothing about plantation society other than as employers. They met one day while Alice went riding. She loved to ride, and fast. It gave her a sense of freedom she could not enjoy at home. Home, where there were so many expectations of her as a young Southern belle. Home, where her mother and brother dictated her every move. But on horseback, she could be free. She could be the Alice she wanted to be. Just ahead, some men were clearing the road of a fallen tree that was blocking the path. One of the lumbermen caught her eye. It was John Braddock. He was drawn to her, too, and in their first brief meeting, a courtship began. But when she mentioned her newfound beau to her family, her mother and brother chided her. "How can you possibly carve a place for yourself in this society if you attach yourself to this common lumberman?" But Alice's heart ruled, and she spent her days dreaming of her beloved, paying scarce attention to her brother's or mother's words. She sent secret messages to him by way of loyal servants who would deliver them and arrange for secret meeting places. And one day, her young man came to call. Her brother was furious that Alice would continue to associate with such a commoner and would so blatantly defy his wishes. Despite Alice's pleadings, Allard turned John away. Alice felt her very life was being taken from her by a tyrannical brother and an unyielding mother. Had they never known love before? Did they not know what it was like to love someone so deeply that it hurt? She was wretched. And there was no mother or brother to turn to for a sympathetic shoulder. She was more determined than ever to continue to see Jon, while her mother and brother continued to search for a worthy husband. Alice secretly accepted an engagement ring from her true love. It was a plain gold band with an inscription, "Love never fails, Jon." Alice loved it. Yes, their love would never fail. But she knew she could not wear the ring openly on her finger, so she placed it on a blue ribbon to wear around her neck, close to her heart. Her family would come around to accepting her love for Jon, and would accept Jon himself into the family. She was convinced it was just a matter of time. But time went on, and her brother and mother would not stop their relentless pursuit of a proper husband and would no longer allow Alice to see her lumberman. Allard, suspicious of secret rendezvous between Alice and Jon, sent Alice to a boarding school in Charleston, providing the school with strict orders to prevent any correspondence between the two lovers. But time and distance would not make Alice's heart less fervent for her beloved. Even though she attended many social events, including the annual St. Cecilia Ball, the biggest coming-out party of the season, and was pursued by many suitors, she remained true to Jon. She had worn the ribbon thin, fingering her ring, reading the beautiful inscription, clutching it close to her aching heart. At times, she would take it off the ribbon and place it on her finger. She would imagine her wedded bliss. Why did her brother fail to see how miserable he was making her? And then she would cry herself to sleep. She grew frail and thin. She was pining away in Charleston. Once she had been hopeful that her brother would give in, that she would be reunited with Jon. But now her future seemed dark, unclear. She began to have strange dreams. She dreamed she was lost in a dark forest. Her beloved was calling to her. She began walking to him in the darkness, with Jon always far ahead, always out of reach. She was surrounded by the empty blackness. It enveloped her, and she could move no more. She lost sight of Jon's form, and then she too was lost in the void. When she awoke, she found herself ill with fever, a fever that seemed to overtake her, just as the darkness had. Out of alarm for her health, her brother was summoned to Charleston. He traveled for 4 days to reach her. Once he arrived, he found her too weak to even acknowledge his presence. He carried her to his carriage for the journey home. The jostling and jolting 4-day ride made her even more ill. By the time she was placed in her own bed at the Hermitage, she was comatose. She dreamed feverish dreams of her beloved, would call out his name, would reach for the ring he had given her. That would comfort her. And she would visibly sigh, her frail body relaxing in sleep. But the sight of that ring with the name of that forbidden lover carved inside angered her brother. How dare John Braddock give his sister an engagement ring? How dare Alice defy his wishes and accept this ring? He blamed the lumberman for his sister's illness and wanted all reminders of this tragic figure removed from his house and his sister's mind. He snatched the ribbon. It took only one small tug to break it, for it had been worn down to nothing. In a fit of rage, he threw the ring into the nearby creek. Now, when Alice made the all-too-familiar and comforting gesture of clutching the ring to her chest, it was not there. She deliriously asked for it. She made wild, searching motions for the ring, pounding, scratching at her chest, leaving clawing marks on her delicate skin. Where was it? If the ring was gone, then so was she. And she lapsed into a coma and died. Alice Flagg was dressed in her favorite dress for her funeral at All Saints' Church. As friends viewed the body, they shuddered at the sight. Where had her youth and beauty gone? This was not the face they remembered. It was a cold, pained face with all its spirit drained away. There was talk that she could not bear losing her true love. That was the real reason she died. That was the real reason death gave her no peaceful release. She was buried at All Saints' Waccamaw Episcopal Church near Pawleys Island. According to local tradition, Dr. Alice Flagg, Alice's brother, insisted that no other inscription than her first name commemorate her grave. He felt that she had disgraced the family unforgivably. Her stubborn rebelliousness had caused her early death, and she did not deserve further acknowledgement. No one knew what became of Jon Braddock. He was not seen at the funeral. Some say he was so grief-stricken that he could no longer stay in the place that held so many memories of her. With Alice's death, he too seemed to fade away. But many believe that even in death, Alice did not give up her hope of being united with her one true love. In death, she continues to search for her ring, the symbol of her chosen man's affection. There are stories about sightings of Alice, followed by strange happenings. Some say when a group of young people stood at her gravesite, a ring suddenly flew off the finger of one of the girls. She had been unable to remove the ring for some time, but it mysteriously flew off. It took much of the day to relocate that ring, which the girl treasured. Alice has been seen many times near her final resting place, behind the wrought iron gates of All Saints' churchyard. Through the years, numerous guests at the Hermitage have seen a vivid, lifelike Alice standing in her old bedroom. She is always wearing a long white dress, as if dressed for a wedding. And always she seems to be searching for her lost ring. It is possible today to visit her gravesite at All Saints Episcopal Church near Pawleys Island. Look for the plain marble slab that is simply engraved, Alice.
That concludes this tale from the Moonlit Road. Be sure to visit our website at themoonlitroad.com to find out more about our stories and let us know how we're doing. The Moonlit Road is produced and directed by Craig Dominey, recorded and soundscaped by Henry Howard in beautiful Stone Mountain, Georgia. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.